Good afternoon. Welcome, everyone. I hope that y'all are doing well. My goodness, it's good to see everybody here. So thank you so much for joining. We're so glad to have you here. Awesome. Well, my name is Clairissa Talley. I am the transfer admissions coordinator here at Baylor University, and it is my job and my joy to help serve students as y'all are interested in coming to Baylor. So without further ado, I am going to just pull up my screen and share that with y'all. And let's get started and go through a little bit more about what it's like to transfer to Baylor. Again, we're so happy to have you here at Premier. And if you don't know where we are, we're in Waco, Texas. So I love Premier Days that are virtual because we get to see y'all joining us from every little corner of the world that you may be in. But here in Waco, it's a beautiful sunny day. If you've never been here, we hope that you get to visit sometime soon. But this is me. I just want to share a little bit about myself first and how I came to be at Baylor. So I actually did not go to Baylor. That's my little confession. I didn't know Baylor existed when I was in your shoes thinking about college. So I grew up in California, ended up going to a small private Christian school there. It was okay. It was good. But it definitely wasn't Baylor. And so after I graduated and began working in admissions, I discovered this magical little place called Baylor in the middle of Texas. And my husband and I moved out here as fast as we could. And we absolutely love it here in Waco. We lived in the Los Angeles area. And so it's definitely a different piece of life here in Waco. And again, we love it. The people here at Baylor are absolutely incredible. And that's what's keeping us here is it's just an absolutely wonderful school and incredible community. And so in a way, I transferred to Baylor too, just as a staff member rather than as a student, but I absolutely love getting to work with students. On the left-hand side, that's me actually at one of my favorite little bookshops here. It's called Fabled. So if you ever come to town, definitely recommend you check out Fabled Bookshop. And the right-hand side is actually when I was first visiting at the stadium for my interview, and we all know how that went. I got the job and haven't left since. And so clearly it's just a special place here and I'm excited to share it with y'all. But to start off, some facts about Baylor. We were actually chartered back in 1845 by the Republic of Texas. So not even the state of Texas, the Republic of Texas. So we've been around for a very long time. We're the oldest college in Texas and comes with a lot of bragging rights, of course, and a long lineage. And so since we were founded, we have actually grown. And so now we have about 15,000 undergraduate students. And so it's pretty large for a private Christian school, but we love that because it still feels like it's a small school. You have all the benefits of a big school experience with having D1 sports and having just all the research opportunities here and having so many students where you're always making new friends, and yet you still have the small school experience. And so I'd like to share particularly what I mean about that in that setting of academic excellence. And so we have over 120 academic majors and programs, lots for you to choose from. That's everything from all of the basics like business. We have several award-winning programs within our School of Business, such as our entrepreneurship program, which has been consistently ranked in the top 10 in the nation for many years now. We have the Best of Accounting program in the state of Texas, where we have a 4+1, so you can get your bachelor's and your master's in 4+1 years. As a transfer student, as long as you've been taking some business classes, you should be able to tag right along to that whenever you transfer in and continue with that. And we have the highest CPA pass rates in the entire state of Texas. We have an aviation sciences program. So if you want to become a pilot, we have that. We also have apparel design. So if you want to become a fashion designer, you can do that here at Baylor too. But just the diversity within the options you have is incredible to me. And so that's what I mean by having those big school opportunities. Another big school opportunity is that we're a top tier research university. In fact, we're R1. That stands for Research One, and it's designated by Carnegie Institute. They kind of handle all the levels of research within the United States and how to rank various colleges. And so at the highest level, only 130 colleges in the United States are designated as R1, and we're one of them. And so you get to do incredible research here. And so those first two boxes really show you what I mean by the big school opportunities, but you still have the small school feeling I was telling you about. So our average class size is 26. Especially as a transfer, if you're coming in and you've already finished your freshman year or you finished your freshman and sophomore year, you're skipping all the classes where there might have been more students. And so you're definitely hitting that average of 26, if not getting even smaller to where you have fewer students in your classes. So you really do get to know your professor. And we have a 15:1 student to faculty ratio. So it's another way of seeing that. The small class size is that intentional faculty interaction. And within academics, I do think that one of the best parts of our academics is those faculty members. You do have access to them, which paired with the fact that we're an R1 school with research, means that you just get access to these incredible professors. Over 75% of them have their doctoral or terminal degree, and our professors are the one who actually teach the classes. So you're not learning from a TA or grad assistant, you actually are learning from the professors themselves, and they are here and ready to assist you, ready to jump in and just serve you. It's very common to see students grabbing coffee with their professors after class, or being invited over to their professor's house for a barbecue, or even for the holidays in case you are from out of state or too far away to go home for Thanksgiving or Easter or different things like that. They're so excited to just get to do life with you and have you in community. And so our academics are so strong. And of course, the professors are there for you in case you have any questions. You can go to their office hours. But we also have a couple offices specifically dedicated to help you with your success. And so the Paul L. Foster Success Center is a specific area you can go to for free tutoring. So you don't have to pay for tutoring on campus. That for any subject is absolutely free. We also have supplemental instruction. So as I mentioned, we don't have TAs teaching our classes, but a way that we can kind of implement a way for that peer, older peer interaction is through supplemental instruction, or SI as we call it. And so that's an opportunity where a student who did well in a class in a previous semester can volunteer to teach supplemental instruction. And so let's say if you did really well and you got a 99% in organic chemistry, and that's a class that some students struggle in. So the next semester and for semesters after that, even you could become a supplemental instructor for organic chemistry. So students who are perhaps struggling in the class can go to additional sessions of instruction taught by you, a student. So you're not teaching in the same jargon perhaps that a professor would, but you're teaching in a way that will help students really understand. And so it's a great opportunity for you to become a leader in the community by being a supplemental instructor, and for you to get assistance in our community as a student who's attending supplemental instruction. So I highly recommend you take advantage of that. And the Success Center is available in a lot of different areas as well, with helping with math labs and with English and writing, and just being able to help you make sure that no matter what the question is or what the need is within your academics, you have the ability and the resources to help you succeed. Another office that exists solely to just help you succeed and get the most return on your investment here is the Career Center. And so their focus very clearly is career and professional development. And so here's just some stats and numbers about opportunities that they have had to help you get that ROI. So we have had over 280 employers that have attended our college fairs in the last year. The last year, we also had 720 Career Center events, which is wild to me. There's so many events that we've had. They've been virtual and in person, at big fairs, one-on-one meetings where we're having different employers and recruiters come and meet with students. And so many different events for you. And then on our website, Handshake, which is our career, professional development, internship, job website, we've posted over 10,000 internships for our students to look into. And keep in mind, we only have 15,000 undergrad students, and most of our freshmen aren't even really looking at that yet. So we have over 10,000 internships posted for y'all, and we have over 26,000 actual jobs for y'all posted through Handshake. So there is no lack of opportunity for y'all to be able to get the assistance you need. And the Career Center, I will say a lot of these things and these numbers right now are focused on things that you'll be looking into your junior or senior year as you're looking for internships and jobs, but do not let that lead you astray to think that they are not here for you starting day one. You can transfer in spring of your freshman year even, or start of your sophomore, junior year. From day one, when you get to Baylor, you can use the Career Center. If you are still figuring out what you want to major in or what you want to do with your major, they have aptitude tests and career coaches, and they are just there to help you. So definitely take advantage of that resource. But talking about the ROI, that return on investment, yes, it does have to do with your academic success and getting a job and all of that. That is so apparent. But also, I think some of that return on your investment of coming to Baylor happens in the day-to-day of just living on campus and being here as a student in the day-to-day life of being here at Baylor. And so I would be remiss if I didn't share a little bit more about student life with y'all as well. And so we have a robust, buzzing student life on campus. It's the community here that is just the heartbeat of Baylor. And so we have so many different organizations for y'all to get involved in. We are, like I mentioned earlier, a D1 school. So we are at the NCAA D1 level. So lots of amazing sporting events as well. On the left-hand side, you'll see some of those students who are here in the Baylor Chamber as part of running at the Baylor line. I'll talk about that in just a moment, a little bit more, but football games, basketball games are a huge deal here. We also have an equestrian team that students love to go cheer on. I was just talking with some colleagues who actually were on the acrobatics and tumbling team when they were a student. So we have an amazing acrobatics team, just so many opportunities for y'all to get involved, whether it's going to see sports or play sports. We also have the Brazos River that runs right along campus. And so there's a wakeboard team, there's a marina that we have where students will go, hang out, rent paddle boards, play sand volleyball. Like there is just always something going on. And so it's really, really fun to be a student here on campus. And along with that, we have over 350 student organizations. So not only are there all the activities that you could just attend as a student, but there's also ways for you to get involved hands-on and get involved even in leadership and service opportunities of these organizations and just participate. And so we do have Greek life. It is non-residential, so we don't have any official Greek housing. Most students in Greek life end up living together anyways in houses of like anywhere from 5 to 12 people or so, but there's a Greek life, and that's a great way to get involved. About 35 to 40% of our population is in Greek life, so if you're in it, that is awesome. If you are not in Greek life and that's not your thing, you're not left out at all. There's, like I said, 350 plus ways to get involved, but that is just one aspect of it. We have intramural teams. If you want to play sports, there are different club sports as well. Like I mentioned, that the wakeboard club is one. One of our tour guides actually just started a hockey team last year, and so they are traveling around the country competing with hockey. There's so many other club sports and teams that you can join. On the right hand side, you'll see there's a bear. So we actually have 2 live bears on campus. Lady and Joy are their names, and they're live American black bears. And so the gentleman right here is actually on the Baylor chamber. And so that's the club you can join where you can actually be a bear trainer. So it's really cool. You get to learn how to, interact with animals like the bears. You get to teach them different things. Our bears actually know how to do a sick'em, which is that like Baylor war cry where it goes sick'em bears. So the bears know how to do that. And you really just get to take part in taking care of them on campus. So I can talk about so many opportunities, but suffice it to say there are lots of organizations for you to join. And it's what helps it feel like a family, along with the fact that we have so many traditions. And so I absolutely love the fact that, like I said, Baylor is the oldest college in Texas. So there's a long lineage of traditions and life here. So a couple traditions are like every week we have Dr. Pepper Hour. You'll see that in the left-hand side of that picture. A couple students on a bench on campus just enjoying Dr. Pepper Hour. So if you didn't know, Dr. Pepper was invented in Waco. So we absolutely love to celebrate that. So every Tuesday all around campus, we have Dr. Pepper floats. So you just go get a free Dr. Pepper float and get to enjoy that on campus. So that's really fun. Another tradition we have is shown in that middle picture, and that's called Sing. It's some girls from a sorority that are doing their performance for Sing. It's a big off-Broadway kind of production we put on every single spring. And so different sororities and fraternities and multicultural organizations will get together, and in their big groups, they put together a 7-minute performance. And so it's all students do the choreography, they do the set design, the costume design, everything. And so it is absolutely incredible. I encourage you to go on YouTube and look up Baylor Sing, and you'll see some of the performances there. And so that's an incredible tradition to take part in. Another one is called the Christmas on 5th. And so you'll see that in the right-hand picture. So every Christmas, before y'all go home for the holidays, we set up 5th Street on campus and just have everything. We have a holiday tree lighting, as you can see. We've got a live nativity scene, real camels and everything. We've got an ice skating rink, horse-drawn carriages. Santa's running around somewhere. It's just a fun time to celebrate the holidays and get that fun holiday feeling before we go out on the holidays. And also this last year, we began doing a maker's market there. So students and faculty and alumni were able to set up their booths with different goods and services. So you could buy some candles as Christmas gifts, or some earrings and clothes, whatever it might be. And so that was an extra special part of it that we had right before Christmas too. Another tradition that's not pictured is called running the Baylor line. And so that is where, as an incoming transfer student, you could get a gold line jersey that has your name or a nickname on the backside. And then before every single home football game for your very first fall semester at Baylor, you would get to start off in one corner of the field. And then right before the game starts, you rush the field, and then you create this human tunnel for the football team. They run through, and then you get front row seats right behind the opposing team. So that's another fun tradition that you can take part in. But truly so many ways that it helps it feel like a family here at Baylor, and our community is so close knit. So hopefully that gives you just a taste of what it's like here, but I want to shift gears real quick because hopefully if you are excited about applying to Baylor, you will then want to know how to actually apply. So we'll go through this. Feel free to take screenshots of the next couple pages. I know that that can be helpful as you're going through and making sure you have all the right information. And so how to apply is pretty simple, but you'll just want to follow these steps. And so first step is deciding how you want to apply. We have 3 entry terms. You can come in the spring, the summer, or the fall at Baylor. The deadline to come in the spring is November 15th. The deadline to apply if you want to come in the summer is May 15th. And the deadline to come in the fall is June 1st. And so once you decide that, you'll just create your application. You'll create a free Go Baylor account. Just baylor.edu/go Baylor. Like I said, it's free. So you'll just apply there. And that is the one and only place to apply as a transfer student. And so the process of applying is pretty simple, but what you need to submit depends on the magic number of 24. So let's look at number 3 on this page right now. So if you have completed less than 24 credit hours after graduating from high school. So at this point, you're not thinking about dual credit just since you graduated high school. If you've completed less than 24 credit hours when you apply, we'll need your final official high school transcript showing your graduation date, official SAT or ACT scores. If you're caught in that season where you were a senior in high school during the pandemic, let us know and we can see about waiving that. Then we'll also need all official college transcripts. And then hopping over to number 4 on the screen, if you've completed 24 or more college credits since graduating from high school, then we don't need the high school work. All we need are your official college transcripts. And then the last bullet point for both 3 and 4, you'll see, if applicable, we'll need a break in education statement. So this is very simple. It's just that if you've taken a semester or more off of school since high school, we'll just need a quick statement about what you were up to. We know sometimes students take time off because they had an injury or had a baby or they were deployed in the military or whatever it may be. That is all okay. We're not being nosy. We just need to know what you're up to for really boring auditing purposes, actually. So those are the steps. And then hopefully, fingers crossed, you're accepted. If you are, we will want to let you know all the things about scholarship and credits and everything. And if you are accepted within 1 to 2 weeks of being accepted, we should have a transfer credit evaluation for you that will show how all of your credits articulate to Baylor. And so hopefully that will help you as you make your decision about whether or not you want to submit your deposit. So the deposit is the way for you to really just secure your spot on campus for fall, spring, or summer, whenever you're coming to Baylor. And so this is your way to say, yes, I'm in and I am coming to Baylor. For y'all, transfers, it is refundable. If you decide that, before school starts, you have to cancel and you can no longer come to Baylor. So it's not refundable just because you have to actually say, actually, I'm canceling, I'm not coming to Baylor. And that is the way that you could get a refund. And the refund deadlines are the same as the actual deposit deadline. So if you want to come to Baylor in a spring semester and you've been accepted, you have to pay your deposit to secure your spot by December 1st. If you end up depositing before December 1st, you realize, actually, I can't come to Baylor, that's when you would have to cancel. And that December 1st date is the date by which you would need to cancel in order to receive the refund. Same goes for summer. If you're starting in June, which is entry 1, the deposit is due by May 1st. If you're starting at the summer entry 2, which is in July, the deposit is due by June 1st. And then if you're just starting in the fall, which is the most traditional semester to start, then your deposit is due by July 1st. But like I said, I know it's a big decision, and so if you really just want to make sure that even before you get your acceptance and your transfer credit evaluation, you just want to start to have an idea of what courses would transfer over, then you can use our equivalent course tool. So it's called the ECT for short, and you can go to this webpage listed right here at the top, or you can just look up Baylor ECT online and it'll bring you right here. And so this page is really helpful because it shows how your credits articulate to Baylor. Just plug in the state and the institution. You can search course by course, but I actually recommend just plugging in state, institution, and then click search courses. And that'll pull up a list of all the classes that have been frequently transferred in the last 5 years. So just bear in mind, it's not a fully exhaustive list. It just shows classes, again, that have been frequently transferred in the last 5 years. So the most accurate will be the official transfer credit evaluation you get after accepted. But in the meantime, this will just be such a helpful tool. And then, of course, if you're accepted, we'll also let you know which academic scholarship you're eligible for. So this chart shows you very clearly what scholarship associates with what GPA. So if you have at least a 3.0 cumulative college GPA, you would get $9,000 a year. If you have at least a 3.25, you would get $10,000 a year. If you have at least a 3.5 GPA, you would get $12,000 per year. And if you have at least a 3.75, you would get $13,000 of scholarship per year. So those are the transfer scholarships. And it's contingent upon keeping up a 3.0 at Baylor or higher. I will also note that there is an additional scholarship. If you're transferring from a community college in the United States and you're part of the Academic Honor Society called Phi Theta Kappa, or PTK for short, then you could be eligible for an additional $1,000 scholarship per year. You just need to send us a picture of your PTK certificate with your name on it to Baylor, or to admissions@baylor.edu. So again, if you're part of Phi Theta Kappa at a community college in the United States, just send us a picture of your certificate at admissions@baylor.edu. And then of course, we want to review you for need-based aid as well. And so you'll submit both the FAFSA and the CSS profile. The FAFSA stands for the Free Application for Federal Student Aid. So it's run through the government, so you'll fill out that. And then the CSS profile stands for the College Scholarship Service Profile, and that's run through College Board. So we do require both of these applications in order to review you for need-based aid. And so definitely make sure to submit those. They open October 1st every year. So fill it out and then submit that to us. So hopefully just moving to Waco will help you save money. Again, with virtual premiere, I love it because I know there's students joining us from other parts of Texas. There's students joining us from other states in the United States and even from other countries. And so it's fun to just get to share that our cost of living here in the heart of Texas in Waco is quite affordable compared to most other places. So whether it's about $1,000 for the average cost of a 2-bedroom apartment, or the cost of a gallon of milk being less than $3, average cost of a meal at a casual restaurant. That's one of my favorite things moving from Los Angeles, is seeing how easy it is just to eat out without breaking the bank, or the average cost of a gallon of gas. I know we're all suffering from higher gas prices right now, with everything going on in the world. But normally in a typical year, $2.76 is indeed what we would pay for gas, or I've paid even much lower before the pandemic and everything. So all that to say is overall, you can guarantee you'll be saving money just by moving to Waco. I mean, don't take my word for it. You should come see for yourself. Y'all should come over to Baylor. Right there in the middle, you'll see there's Fable. That's the bookstore I was telling you about, the bookstore and cafe where you see a lot of students studying. We are also home to Magnolia. So that is the Magnolia Silos from Chip and Joanna's show, Fixer Upper. And so a lot of students will go hang out at the silos and study for the day. There's lots of good coffee shops. There's at least a dozen I can name off the top of my head, of coffee shops that students will regularly visit. Lots of good restaurants. There's Topgolf and Cinemark and Main Event, and there's malls in here. So it's a perfect mid-sized town where you have everything you really need, but we don't have the traffic of the big cities, which is lovely. And so it's just such a beautiful place to visit. So I encourage y'all to try to come hang out with us here at Baylor, come for a tour. And if you have any questions before or after you come for a tour, you can reach out to us. So this is our transfer team. There's me in the middle. I am the main transfer admissions coordinator. So you can always reach out to me if you have any questions at transfer_admissions@baylor.edu, or my personal email. We also have these other counselors. And so Amira in the top left, she serves all students from Southern California. So Southern and Central California, if you are coming from a college there, Amira is your gal. If you are coming from Northern California or Washington or Oregon, Jordan Santos in the left-hand side is going to be your guy. Edion Castro Rivera on the top right-hand side. Edion serves all transfers from the basic Midwest. He actually lives in Illinois. So all of these regionals, they live in their area that they serve. And so if you're from the Midwest, Edion will be your transfer counselor. And then our lovely counselor, Jan, she lives in Colorado and serves students from Colorado, Nevada, and Arizona. And so if you're from one of those areas, she'll be your gal. So just reach out to us again. We are your transfer team and we're so happy to help. But with that being said, hopefully I can help answer some of your questions right here. So let's just go through the Q&A as fast as we can. And so can you share with us what your acceptance rate of transfer applicants is? Yes, our acceptance rate for transfers is about 80 to 85% depending on the year, whereas our freshman acceptance rate is about 35%. So it is, I would say, much easier to get in as a transfer. Another question is, does financial aid cover the deposit? Hi, Anne-Marie, it's good to see you. I know we've emailed a bit, so it's nice to see you here asking questions. Does financial aid cover the deposit? What if we're waiting to hear if we're admitted into a particular program? Great question. Financial aid does not cover the deposit. You do have to pay that deposit first. If you end up getting enough financial aid that it gives you a refund, I know some students get so much aid that they end up getting a refund in a direct deposit or in a check to their bank. And so if you get that, then hopefully we just retroactively cover that. But otherwise, you do have to pay that $500 deposit. And so that is that. What about tornadoes? Do you have palm trees? I love it. So yes, tornadoes are a thing here in the South. I have not experienced one personally in the years living here. Again, I'm from California, so I could do an earthquake any day of the week. Like I'm used to those. They don't scare me at all. Tornadoes were scary to me, the idea of those when I first came. But again, there hasn't been one. There's been a couple of tornado watches, tornado warnings, but we haven't had any hit near us. And so there's a lot of precautions set in place on campus and around campus, though, to ensure if we have a tornado warning, that there are safe places for you to be. Palm trees, we don't have any that naturally grow. I think there's some that people have like transplanted here. Definitely a transition from being in LA where they're everywhere. But yes, not too many palm trees here. Is it common to see 1-year transfer students apply? I think that you mean a student who's done just 1 year at another college and then transferring. Yes, that is common. I would say over 50% of our transfer students come in as sophomores. So they've done just 1 year at another school and they're coming in as a sophomore. So that's very, very normal here at Baylor. If I transfer after the first semester at Texas A&M, is it possible to get more scholarships on top of the transfer scholarship? Yes, there's a variety of outside scholarships, departmental scholarships, need-based aid. So the transfer academic scholarship is not the only scholarship you can get. There are many others that you can get. If one gets the highest level of transfer scholarship, does one have to maintain the 3.0 or their? Okay, yes. So if you get the scholarship where you had to get a 3.75 cumulative GPA in order to get the highest $13,000 per year scholarship, you are allowed to now have below that at Baylor. You just have to have at least a 3.0 to keep up the $13,000 per year scholarship or whatever scholarship you get. So that 3.0 minimum to keep your scholarship is the same no matter what your GPA was when you first came into Baylor. So I hope that helps. There's a couple of questions about housing. In a previous meeting today, I heard that if a transfer student wants to live on campus, they have a good chance of living at university parks and are normally put there. Is this true? That is a great question. In many years, that is true. This year, transfer housing is quite impacted. There's a couple of our freshman dorms that are being kind of taken off grid for renovation and whatnot. So I will say, truth be told, transfer on campus housing is very limited this year. So if you're coming in this fall or next spring of 2023, I would definitely encourage you to plan for off-campus housing. We have a lot of resources to help with that. So I would say, like, please do not be scared. If you have ever visited, I think that helps because you get to see how seamlessly a campus bleeds into off-campus housing, off-campus apartments. And so like when you're going around campus, you'll see like there's like an entire layer that is like several streets deep of off-campus apartments and condos and homes that are just filled to the brim with Baylor students. And so it feels like our campus extends beyond true campus into, again, like streets of a perimeter of off-campus housing. So you can definitely apply for on-campus, but it would not be as guaranteed. So we're only in April. Please start looking for off-campus housing, and you can email us at admissions@baylor.edu if you want to get access to those resources that I was sharing about. So please reach out. Let's see, there's another question. Camden, I was just emailing you this morning. Good to see you. Let's see, asking about financial aid. Is it renewable? Yes. So if you, whatever financial aid package you get your first year is typically going to be what you can count on for the next few years. The academic scholarship, again, that just counts on you maintaining the 3.0 GPA at Baylor for the academic scholarship. For need-based aid, as long as your like family income remains about the same, most of you will still be applying with your parents' information on the FAFSA and CSS profile. So as long as like they don't win the lottery or, you know, make so much money that's different from when you first applied for aid that would really skew the FAFSA and CSS profile, then you should get the same kind of financial aid package year after year. How is parking on campus? There's plenty of parking available. I mean, at any school, like sometimes depending on rush hours, you know, you might have to go around in a circle for 5 minutes to find it, but we have parking permits that are specifically for particular areas. So at least, you know, you are only going to be parking in your area. Let's see, we do not have out-of-state tuition. It is all the same for all students. So it's all the same tuition. And you can use the net price calculator on our website to help to see what your cost may be. There's a net price calculator as well as the cost of attendance tool. And so that is all the time we have. We answered 13 questions. So I think hopefully that was helpful for y'all, just to go through that rapid fire Q&A after all the information. So I hope that that was helpful. Again, I'm a transfer admissions partner, so I will probably work with each of you as you go throughout this process, and just reach out to me or any of the other transfer counselors if you have any questions. We are here and happy to help, and you can just reach us at admissions@baylor.edu. So very, very grateful that all of you have taken this time to spend with me. I hope that you enjoy the rest of your beautiful Saturday, and we will see y'all later. Have a great day. Sick 'em.